You know that moment when someone at a party turns to you and says, "You're so good with people," and something inside you wants to laugh? Not because it's untrue, but because they have no idea what it costs you. The energy, the calculation, the way you've learned to show up fully while staying completely hidden. They see someone magnetic. You feel like a mirror, reflecting back exactly what each person needs to see, while the real you stays carefully out of frame. You're not an introvert who dreads the room. You're not an extrovert who feeds off it. You're something else entirely. You're an outrevert. And you don't live on one side of the spectrum. You switch. People think they know you. You're so outgoing, they say. You make everyone feel comfortable. And you do. That part is real. But what they don't see is the quiet that comes after. The way you sit in your car before going inside, gathering energy like you're preparing for a performance. The way you leave a gathering and feel like you've been holding your breath for hours. This isn't social anxiety. It's not shyness. It's not even introversion, that predictable need to recharge away from people. This is adaptive fluency. You learn to read rooms before you learn to read yourself. You became fluent in everyone else's emotional language while forgetting your own. You're not confused about who you are. You're adaptive, and there's a difference. Here's what most people miss. Outroverts recharge alone. Silence resets them. Solitude clears the noise, just like introverts. But here's the twist. Isolation too long feels wrong. You don't want distance. You want control over proximity. You want to be able to choose when you're on and when you're not. You want environments that respect balance, because you're energy literate in a way most people aren't. You don't just feel drained or energized. You feel the specific quality of energy in a room. You know when to speak, you know when to leave, and you trust that knowing. Not everyone is meant to be loud. Not everyone is meant to hide. Some people are built to move between worlds. That's you. What people see as inconsistency is actually sophistication. You don't crave crowds, you crave alignment. Small groups, one-on-one conversations where the depth actually matches the intimacy. Deep, unforced connection. You disappear from rooms that drain you and light up in spaces that don't. And that's not flakiness, that's attunement. Somewhere along the way, probably early, you learned that your energy was a resource people wanted access to. Maybe you were the kid who could lighten the mood when things got tense. Maybe you learned that being easy, being magnetic, being fun kept you safe, kept you included, kept the adults happy. So your nervous system learned to perform, not consciously, instinctively. You became a mirror, reflecting back what others needed, sensing what would make them comfortable, reading the room's emotional temperature before you even took off your coat. The reward was immediate. People liked you. You got invited places. You were seen as confident, warm, approachable. But the cost was slow and quiet. You stopped knowing what you actually felt in those rooms. You became so good at responding to others' energy that you forgot how to generate your own. To some people, you seem distant. To others, unforgettable. And that confuses them. But it makes perfect sense to you, because outroverts mirror energy instinctively, not as manipulation, but as intuition. You don't perform, you respond. What someone brings out is what they get. If they show up with curiosity, depth, realness, you match it. If they show up with surface-level small talk and performative energy, you reflect that too. You're highly intuitive. You feel shifts before words appear. You feel tension, mood, intention. You read the room like sheet music, knowing exactly when to speak, when to listen, when to leave. And you trust that knowing. Here's what people don't understand. You can be socially brilliant and still feel utterly alone in a crowd. You can make 10 people feel seen in one evening and go home feeling like a ghost in your own life. Because here's the thing about mirroring. It's invisible labor, emotional labor, and it's exhausting. Not in a way that makes you want to never see people again, but in the way that makes you crave one person who doesn't need you to be anything, who doesn't require the performance, who sees past the magnetic version and wants what's underneath. But that's terrifying, isn't it? Because what if the real version, the one that's quiet sometimes, uncertain, not always on,
isn't enough? What if people only ever wanted the mirror, not the person holding it? You're magnetic with the right people, invisible with the wrong ones, socially fluent, but emotionally selective. You can fill a room and still feel empty doing it. You want connection, but need control over proximity. Not because you're difficult, because you're energy literate. You've learned that not all interaction is nourishing, that some rooms drain you while others restore you, and you stop pretending you can't tell the difference. You're quiet with the wrong energy, magnetic with the right people, not confused, adaptive. There's a specific loneliness that comes with this. People think they know you because you're easy to be around, but easy isn't the same as known. You're grieving something most people never think about, the version of you that could just be without monitoring, the version that didn't have to read every room, assess every interaction, calculate every response. The kid who laughed without checking if it was too loud, who shared feelings without wondering if it was too much. That version might still be in there, but you learn to hide them so well that sometimes even you can't find them. But in all that adapting, all that switching, all those years of learning to read energy like a second language, you developed something profound. You became someone who understands human complexity, not from theory, but from practice. You can hold space for contradictions because you are contradiction. You can sit with someone's mess because you know what it's like to keep yours hidden. Your intuition isn't magic, it's pattern recognition built from thousands of micro-observations. Your ability to make people feel safe isn't performance, it's genuine capacity built from genuine experience. You didn't choose this architecture, but you built something remarkable with it anyway. If you're reading this and something just clicked into place, if you've been trying to figure out why you're good with people but exhausted by them, why you light up in small groups but disappear in big ones, why you can be unforgettable to some and invisible to others, you're not inconsistent. You're energy literate. You're not flaky. You're discerning. You're not broken. You're an outrovert. And everything about the way you move through the world, the switching, the mirroring, the way you show up differently depending on who's in the room, it all makes sense. It was all adaptive. It was all required of you. Maybe you're allowed to stop trying to be one thing now, to stop apologizing for needing both solitude and connection, for being magnetic with the right people and quiet with the wrong ones. Some people are built to move between worlds. You're one of them. And the people that matter will understand that. They'll respect the balance. They'll appreciate both versions, the one that lights up the room and the one that needs to sit in the dark for a while. Both are real. Both are you.